we started to get home. Now, we are almost end of the first quarter of 2021. And we already know one thing for sure. It's not going to change anytime soon. There's a lot of things that are still very uncertain. There are a lot of things that are still going to stay unknown. But that means we need to be that ready to change our strategy. And that's what's going to happen. You see, in the 21st century, we have seen the maximum number of changes. Think about it. We have seen the changes in technology. Go back 20 years. We've been in the century for 20 years. And in the last 20 years, we have seen a lot of changes in the way we do our business. Now, this year, the 2020 was a big change again. But 2021 has now told us that there is more change coming. But what is that change? And that's a very important question. How do you get ready for the 21st century? And the most important thing to get ready for the 21st century is understanding what is the role you will play in this business. Who are you going to be doing? What are you going to be doing in terms of your business? What are you going to be doing in terms of your practice? What are you going to be doing for your client? Your role has to now get defined. It is not about the product. It is not about the company. It is about your role in society. And that's the biggest change of the 21st century. If we go back 30 years, it was always about I have a better product. My company's brand is better. My price is better. All this does not matter in the 21st century. In the 21st century, your role as an advisor becomes even more important because now it's about advice, not the product. So, the question comes up. How do you execute this role? How do you execute the role of becoming an advisor? And it starts with understanding how clients will be. This pandemic actually proved that clients still don't take insurance seriously. Think about it. In this pandemic, more people fell sick, many people passed away, but there was no queue outside your house of people wanting to buy insurance. There's no line. There's nobody waiting outside my house saying, Sanjay, I need to buy insurance. This pandemic proved that even when people feel the risk, they don't feel the need to buy insurance. And that is what makes this so exciting. Because that means you can have the best technology in the world. You can have the best distribution online to the world. People will still not buy because it is not their priority. Guys, this pandemic proved that your job has become even more valuable. People are not buying insurance online. Yes, they are buying the commodity insurances online. Your travel insurance, your home insurance, a little bit of medical insurance. But when it comes to true financial planning, clients need you more today than ever before. This pandemic proved. But the problem is, how do you start that conversation? And that is what makes this very unique. And each one of you needs to know how to start the conversation and convert that conversation into a sale. So it always comes down to, why should I work with you? What do you offer? And why do I need to buy insurance? Or why do I even need to do financial planning? So let's start with the most basic thing. Understanding the why more than the what. What product I should buy is not important. Why I should buy it is more important. When people talk about affordability, when they say, Sanjay, I can't afford to buy it, or Sanjay, I I don't feel I need to be spending this money to buy it. It is because the why is not strong. Why do you need to buy it has to be more important than what they buy, who they buy it from, where they buy it from, and how they buy it. So the why is more important than all the other questions. And as soon as you understand that, you will be able to control the conversation with your client. Ladies and gentlemen, the 21st century financial advisor talks about why financial planning is important, and that's what you need to focus on. Now let's come to the most important part, conversation. How do you start conversation with your client? Think about it. When you start speaking to your client, how do you start that conversation? Do you usually start it with, hi, how are you? And that's most of us what we do, right? We start a conversation with, hi, how are you? And then they give you a reply. They will either say, I am fine, or they will say, I am not fine. Now, in both the scenarios, how does that change what your next conversation will be? If they say, I am fine, well, that is the biggest lie in the world, right? There was a saying that the two biggest lies of the world is, number one, when someone asks you how you are, you say, I am fine. And the second biggest lie in the world is, when someone asks you, have you read the terms and conditions? You say, I have. The two biggest lies in the world. And that's the reality. You see, our clients don't tell us the whole truth. Because they don't like to feel vulnerable. They don't feel like they should be insecure. Internally, they might feel. And that's why it becomes very important to know how to start a conversation. Now, I know some of you are saying, but Sanjay, how has that changed my business? It hasn't. And that's what I want you all to understand. There's a lot that has changed, but there's so much that has not changed. So a lot of people are like, Sanjay, what is the change? I said, forget about the change. Let's first take into account what has not changed. What has not changed? People still don't want to buy it. What has not changed? Pandemic or no pandemic, people are still going to die. What has not changed? Pandemic or no pandemic, people will still fall sick. What has not changed? Pandemic or no pandemic, children still have to go to school. What has not changed? Pandemic or no pandemic, people still want to retire. So what has changed? If you think about it, guys, literally nothing has changed. Last year, when the pandemic started, it was in the month of February that I came home and I realized I don't think I will be traveling anytime soon. Now, it's been more than 1 year and I have not left my house. I know some of you have already started leaving the house, but that doesn't change the process of financial planning. Whether I speak to you on the phone, whether I speak to you on a video call, or whether I speak to you when I sit down with you, that process doesn't change. It always starts with why you need to buy life insurance. And that is what I call a conversation starter or a concept presentation. So it starts with a conversation. It's not about, hi, how are you? A conversation can start in two ways. You can either start a conversation with a question, and that's what most of us do. We start with, hi, how are you? But instead of asking that question, why don't you ask a more fun question? Something that they can relate to, something they can enjoy answering, something that will make them feel this is different. Think about it. You can either start a conversation with a question, or you can start the conversation with a story. Story like a case study, or an example. I'll give you an example. So I love starting my conversation with stories, because I think it's probably one of the best ways for me to connect with my client. And the way I start my conversation is, this client, I was just looking in my garden, and I noticed there's a beautiful tree. But that tree, it is strong. because the roots are strong. If I cut the top of the tree, but I don't cut the roots, then the tree will grow back. And I was just thinking, but if I cut the roots, then the tallest tree will just fall down. And that's when I realized that all of us can see the tree, but we don't realize that the real power of the tree is in the roots. That's exactly what happens with our money. You see, we look at our assets. Our assets are all the trees we have around us. Those are our assets. But what makes our assets good is the income. If the asset gets cut, if the value of the asset drops, as long as there is income in the asset, the tree will grow back. So it's always been about income, not assets. But if you think about financial planning, this is what everyone tells us. It is about asset accumulation, asset preservation, asset distribution. But in reality, it's about income accumulation, making sure you have more and more income. It's about income preservation and income protection. And it's about income distribution. What do you want to give your children? Think about it. Do you want to give them assets, or do you want to give them income? Think about it. And a lot of people don't realize it. But it's not about assets, it is about income. We all suffer from the lack of enough income. Don't we all wish we had a little bit more income? And that is the key to financial planning. Focusing on income rather than assets. Making sure you have more and more income. Now, when you speak in the financial world, you speak to bankers and you speak to asset managers, they will always be focused on assets. Because all their products are about asset accumulation, asset preservation, and asset distribution. We are the only profession in the world. Think about it. We are the only profession in the world that talks about income accumulation. So making sure you've got more and more income. Income protection. Life insurance is the only product in the world that protects your future income. There is no product in the world that protects your future income except life insurance. Think about this. There is no product in the world that does what insurance does. Insurance protects your future income. The money that you haven't earned, the money that you will earn in the future, is protected by life insurance. There is no product in the world that guarantees your future income to your family in case you pass away or in case you fall sick. And that is the key to our business. It always starts with why you need to buy life insurance. And a simple concept, which I call the tree and root preservation, starts that conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get one thing away from today's session, I want you to understand the way you start your conversation, whether it is face-to-face, whether it is on a video call, whether it is on the phone call, will affect your closing ratios. And that is the key to sales. Is understanding how to start the conversation, how to control the conversation, and how to take the conversation to the right direction. So, start with a concept. Once you share a concept, your client will give you objections. If your client doesn't give you objections, you should give some objections to the client. Think about it. It's a beautiful conversation. Convert it into a story. This client, I know what you're thinking. I was speaking to another client of mine, and he said, Sanjay, but I'm so rich, why do I need insurance? You see, I'm asking the question to myself. If your client doesn't ask you a question, you can ask yourself a question in front of the client. Ask the objection. Because maybe they're thinking about the objection, but they just don't feel like asking. I was speaking to this client of mine and I realized, he said, Sanjay, I'm so rich, why do I need insurance? Well, Mr. Client, you are absolutely correct. I realize if you're very rich, why do you need insurance? But I want you to think about a very simple question. Did you know that insurance was only made for rich people? It wasn't made for poor people. Think about it. I give you a car and I give you a bicycle. Which one do you insure? The car. And the simple reason is, it's got a lot more happy. You see, insurance was never made for poor people. It was made for the rich. If you go back to the history of insurance started as a way to protect the rich people from losing all their wealth. Just like if you have nothing to lose, I have nothing to insure. But if you have anything to lose, I have to insure you. I want you to think about it. This is a conversation. After a conversation with me, if you don't feel like buying insurance, I have not done the job. And that should be your mission. Your mission should be to make sure your clients feel they need to at least think about it, even if they don't make a decision. That is the mission that every financial advisor is on. Making sure our clients understand the importance and the reason why they need to even think about buying insurance. Today, it's not about how much you know. And I want you to realize this as well. That you might know a lot of things, but that is not enough anyway. Your clients have access to data. They can go on Google, they can find out things. Technology is available to them. What makes you different? It is telling them how to use it. You see, majority of clients don't know how to use life insurance. Majority of clients don't know how to use critical illness insurance, or income protection insurance, or disability insurance. They don't know how to use it. Because they always ask me, Sanjay, what do I use the life insurance for? How long do I buy it? Why should I buy it for whole life? Why should I buy it for term? Why should I buy it if it's so cheap? Why should I buy it if it's so expensive? These are the whys that you need to answer for your client. It's about how you become an advisor. Everyone talks about using technology, using social media. I said get one thing very clearly. I am very active on social media, but I realize I don't get clients from social media. A lot of people tell me, Sanjay, use social media for prospecting. Let me be very transparent with each one of you. I don't use social media for prospecting because social media is a tool to communicate, but it's not a tool for prospecting for me. And I'll explain why. When someone is looking for me on social media, it's because they need to buy insurance. And if someone needs to buy insurance, that means they're already probably sick. Think about it. I tried. It's not that I didn't try. So if I tell you I didn't try, that's not true. I tried. But all the people I got from social media, the lead quality was so bad. Because the people who were looking to buy insurance were already sick. Now we all know that we have four competitors in this business. Death, old age, disability, and illness. If any four of these reach our clients before us, we cannot do much. Death, old age, disability, and illness. The second reason why a lot of people on social media are looking for insurance is because they're looking for comparison. They're not looking for an advisor. They're looking for a cheaper deal. I'm not going to say I'm the cheapest. But I want you to think about it. If they don't value my advice, it's not about the price anymore. At the end of the day, the question is, why should a client work with you? Are you the cheapest? Are you the most easy product to buy? That's not how it is. And that's what I need you to realize. And when you use social media is not about sales. It's about brand. It's about how people find out about it. If they want to know about you, they should be able to find some details. But it's not about how, it's about How much time do you spend doing these digital technologies? There is a big difference between being online and selling online. I am online, but I don't sell online. And there's a big difference between the two. And every time I sit down with some of these trainers or coaches, they only talk about selling online. There is a big difference between being online and selling online. Ladies and gentlemen, please identify that difference for yourself. Being online is important, but selling online is not important. It's not everyone's strategy. You need to have the right team in place. You need to be spending money on marketing or what? Think about it. Till today, I haven't left my house. I know you have already started moving around, but I have not left my house. And I've been spending my time every day focusing on my business, speaking to the clients that actually need my assistance. Because I realize every single person is scared. And they're scared about what will happen. They're scared about the future. They're scared about things not going back to normal. They are scared about it. And they need an advisor today. The question is, are you that advisor? Remember the process. It starts with a concept. You go on to handling their objection. And once you have handled their objection, help them in making a decision by asking for the signature. A lot of advisors ask me, they're like, Sanjay, how do you close with your client? Let me tell you how I close. The strategy is very simple. The best way to close is to tell your clients what the next step is. For example, if you are my client, I will tell you, well, the next step is I need to start doing the paperwork. I need to start filling up the forms, and I need your signature. Do you have any questions? And at that point, if they have questions, it is an objection that you have to handle. If they don't have questions, you move to the next step. So the most common one that I would get at this point is, Sanjay, I need to ask my wife or I need to ask my husband. Well, I understand that. I understand you want to ask your wife or your husband. But let me ask you a question. Do you think your spouse will tell you, don't protect the family? Do you think the spouse will tell you, let's not plan for the future? Just from this time, let me tell you something. I'm only processing the paperwork for you to be able to know whether you can buy it or not. Whether you buy it or not, that's a completely different story. But I need to still do the paperwork. You have a good 14 to 21 days to think about it. I will know that. But I just want to make sure the paperwork is done. Because after you make the decision, if you tell me, Sanjay, I want to buy the insurance, and the insurance company says no, I will feel even worse. So let me get the paperwork done. No hurry, take the time. Ask whatever you like. Because matters of life and death, you should discuss. And if you need me to answer any questions for your spouse, for your husband or for your wife, let me know. I will be there to answer those. Being there for your client, it is going to be the biggest strength for you in the 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, the 21st century is not about sales, it is about advice. It is about how you give the best advice to your client. The better the quality of your advice, the more sales you will have, and that is the reality. If I leave you with one thought today, it is to leave you with the thought of what is going to be your strategy for the 21st century. 2021. It is a very unique year. We already know about the pandemic. We already know that we cannot travel so much. We already know our clients cannot travel so much. We already know that businesses are looking more to working locally than globally. And this is the best time for you to spend with your clients, for them to identify what will be their strategy going forward. It's not about selling online, it's about being online. It's not about using technology, it's about using technology as a means to communicate. It's about communication. And the best way to communicate is go back to old school. Pick up the phone. I know a lot of advisors, a lot of my mentees, they keep asking me, Sanjay, do you have a script that I can send on a text message? Or do you have a script that I can send on an email to my client? Ladies and gentlemen, if clients purchase through text messages and emails, a computer would take over your job. But the reality, clients don't buy over text message and email. They buy because they speak to an advisor. So go back to the old school. Pick up the phone. Talk to people. Have a conversation with them. Tell them a story. Ask them questions. Have fun. Enjoy the process of sales. Don't get scared. Learn to pick up the phone and talk to people. That is the job of the 21st century financial advisor. Communicating with their clients with love, with passion, and with conviction. If you don't believe in our business, you will fail in this business. If you don't believe in your product, you will not be able to tell your clients why they need to do it. Your why has to be very strong. Why are you in this business? Has to be very strong. Because there are days when you wake up and you don't feel good. There are many days when I wake up and I say, why am I in this business? And if my why that day is not strong, I will find a reason to quit. Majority of the people that leave this business because they don't know why they are in this business. Make sure your why is very strong. Because we have good days, we have bad days. So the why keeps us going. Every night before I sleep, I have a schedule for the next day. Because when I wake up in the morning, I don't want to spend my time planning the day. I want to spend the time executing the day. I want to spend time executing what I thought I will do that day. I don't want to spend my time planning. So I plan before I sleep. I have a schedule for the next full day. But if I wake up in the morning and I don't feel good, which also happens, at least I have a plan of things that I need to do, and I need to get out of the way. So I don't spend the day just wasting the time. I want you to think about it. We always have a good day, we always have a plan. But you need to have a plan for the next day. Because when you wake up and you feel good, you should be able to go out and execute your strategy. If you feel bad, at least you know what you need to get done for the day, so that you don't waste the day. Ladies and gentlemen, plan your day the night before you sleep. If you realize in today's session, I've given you a lot of tips on how to become a 21st century financial advisor. You don't have to execute all of them. Pick up the strategy that you find most useful to you. If it's about conversations, find the right way to start conversation. Pick up a nice story. Ask the right question. Don't start a plain conversation with, hi, how are you? If you have a problem with objection, learn to handle objection. The strategy is very simple. Acknowledge the objection. Don't challenge your client. Acknowledge the objection. Ask them a question that would allow them to understand the objection. Give them an example or a solution of that objection. And make sure they understand. Make it relatable to them. That is the process of objection handling. And then the next step, if you are weak with closing, make sure you explain to them the next step. Is it a signature? Is it a picture with an ID? Is it a copy of their application form? Tell them what the next step is. If you don't tell them what the next step is, don't think your clients will tell you, oh, where do I sign? Your clients don't tell you. You have to tell them where to sign. To learn to do. And the most important, if you take one thing away from the session, make sure you have a schedule. Make sure you're ready for the next day. Make sure that you're prepared. 2021 is your year of success. The only question you have to answer, are you ready? And if you are not ready, there is no one else in the world that can do that for you. So spend some time to replan your 2021. Replan your strategy. Replan who will be the prospects you will work with. Replan. Restart. Relearn. And the most important, re-engage with your client. Pick up the phone and talk. Communicate. Have a conversation. Ladies and gentlemen,